Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Or welcome if you're new. If I'm talking really quietly, it's because it's pretty late and I don't want to wake anybody up, so excuse my half whisper. So, a few months ago, well, let me be real, almost a year ago, I made a video where I shared my pet peeves as a hairstylist, or common pet peeves of hairstylists that we have like towards clients, and I mentioned that I was going to make a reverse video where I'll share pet peeves of clients towards their hairstylist. So it's fair, you know what I mean? So I went online and I searched common issues that clients have with their hairstylist, so I was going to share it here along with my opinion of whether or not I disagree, if that's relevant to you guys. So I just found this list online, so I'm just going to share that with you guys. So this first one is basically saying that they hate when their stylist double books. So they understand that they're trying to increase their income, but at the same time I don't like that it inconveniences me. It's late, guys, I can't talk. So this one I definitely have to agree with. So what they're saying is basically something that a lot of stylists are guilty of doing, and I've done this in the past as well, which is when you try and like book 2 appointments at once. So let's say you know your client is going to be under the steamer for some time. You'll try and book an appointment while they're sitting there so that you're not standing around doing nothing, because as a stylist you're thinking that's valuable time being wasted. But a lot of times that backfires, because truthfully there's really not many services that can fit within another service without making client number 1 wait a little bit longer. So when I was new to doing hair and I was working as an assistant in a salon, I remember the stylist that I was assisting, a lot of times she would have me wash her clients' hair and then sit them under the dryer, like talk them into getting a deep conditioner, so they'll have to sit under the dryer while she finishes another appointment or something like that, basically so that 2 clients are being taken care of at once. And usually a deep conditioner will take 10 to 15 minutes, so in her mind and my mind too, I'll be like, okay, so we just bought all this extra time, but truthfully it's not really much you can do in that short space of time. So what I used to do was I would turn the dryer timer up to 30 minutes, and I would just hope that they would be so into whatever they're watching on their phone that they won't notice that I put it up for that long. Or I would go over and act like I'm looking at the timer on the hood dryer, and then I would actually be turning it up even longer so that the stylist had more time before the client noticed that she should have been washed out. It's a terrible thing to do. I don't recommend doing this. I think it's kind of dishonest, and it's just not fair to that client. Like, if someone comes in for their appointment on time, they deserve to be out at a decent amount of time, so it's not fair that they should wait because you're trying to squeeze in a few extra dollars. So I definitely agree with that pet peeve 110%. So this next one says that they're grossed out when they go back to the station and there's hair from the previous client. This is another huge pet peeve. Like, that would bother me too. Like, that's disgusting. If you have a client and you cut their hair or whatever and their hair is all over the place, don't bring another client back to that chair and then try and clean up around them, or just leave it there. No one should be sitting in your previous client's leftovers. That's disgusting. As a stylist, you might be thinking it's just hair, it's whatever, it is what it is, but no, that's gross. That's disgusting. Like, even if your client has to wait 1 more minute, at least tell your client, hold on 1 second, let me just sweep up really quick so they can see that you're at least cleaning. But don't have them come and sit in their chair and your hair's all over the floor and you still have open bottles of product all over the station and your dirty combs are just sitting there. Because when you're sitting in that messy environment, it just gives you this uneasy feeling, and all of a sudden, just like that, your client is no longer enjoying the experience and they haven't even gotten started yet. And not for nothing, that's just disgusting. That's disgusting. Your client should not have to see your mess from your previous client. Don't do that. Don't allow that. So again, I agree. So this one I read, I have to disagree with it, or at least like halfway disagree. So it says that I hate when I get a stylist who is uncomfortable maintaining a conversation and there's long awkward silences. Okay, I feel like this one's kind of hard to judge because I'm the kind of stylist where I let the client choose whether or not we're going to talk. Because you never know if your clients want to talk or if they want to relax, so I always leave the ball in their court. And I feel like I picked up this habit because I used to work in a spa, and I worked there for 4 years, and I would be doing facials and manicures and stuff, and it's a spa setting, so it's very quiet, very relaxing, very tranquil, you know what I mean? So naturally you would think, oh, let me start a conversation with this client, but if they're there to relax and you're just talking and talking and talking, you're ruining their experience. Also, because the spa was as part of a resort, so this was the only quiet place in the entire resort, so a lot of the guests who came there were looking forward to that quietness. So I just picked up the habit of just not saying anything or not moving beyond a basic introduction conversation until they start talking to me. So I feel like it's kind of unfair to say that it's not fair that your stylists, or that you wish your stylist would talk more, because sometimes we just don't know if you want to talk, or also if we're concentrating, like I'm the kind of person where if I'm concentrating, I don't really talk unless I'm being spoken to, and I won't even notice that I'm being quiet until like way into my service, and I'll just randomly be like, oh sorry, I'm so quiet, I'm just concentrating. That's why I like to have a TV where I'm working or something for the client to do, because it's kind of hard to keep up a conversation when you're trying to focus. I mean, not every stylist is the same, but I don't really think that it's fair to say that it's wrong for a stylist to not keep up a conversation. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. And then coincidentally, the next thing that I read actually said, I hate when when a stylist talks too much when I'm trying to relax. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, you don't really know, it's hard to know as a stylist what your client wants, so it's easier to let them lead. So if you're not talking, then I'm not talking. If you're talking, I'm gonna add to the conversation, but I always let the client be in charge of whatever we're doing speech-wise. That's why I feel like it's so important to have something to entertain your clients, whether it's a TV or music playing or magazines like back in the day, something, just because it's hard to tell what they want, you know. Give them all the options. What else did I read? Sales pitch. Okay, so someone was basically saying that they hate when their client goes overboard trying to sell them a product. So this happens a lot in salons, and all these pet peeves, by the way, are more pertain to like working in a salon or just hairstylists in general. This video isn't particularly about braiding. I'm actually going to do a separate video about braiding clients, because I feel like it's a little bit different in the braiding community than hairstylists in general, so I'll do that in a separate video. But yeah, in salons it is very common for your stylist to try and sell you a product, because a lot of times these salons offer their stylists a commission on their products. I've never been that kind of person to focus on selling products. I feel like if you want it, you'll get it. If not, then it is what it is. I'm not a forceful salesperson. I never have been. I never will be. I'm a hairstylist, but I remember always being forced to try and sell products, like to try harder to sell products, and I'm like, well, I can tell you what I'm using, I can tell you what it does, but I'm not going to go through all the ingredients and, you know, every single function of every item in this product for every single product I'm using on you. Like, that's annoying to me. So I've never been one to do that. And I definitely understand why a client would be annoyed with that, which is why I was never that type of stylist. But it is very common in salons to have pushy salesmen as your stylist, because they do get commission on their sales, or sometimes they have a very pushy owner breathing down their back talking about get these products sold. I feel like it's understandable to explain like a product or two that I'm using, but if you seem clearly uninterested, I'm just gonna stop right there. You know, I'm not gonna keep saying, and this is a conditioner, it conditions your hair, and this is a shampoo, it shampoos your hair. Honestly, if a client was interested in buying retail, they would already be inquiring about it. You don't really have to push on them. So yeah, I definitely agree that having a salesperson for a stylist is annoying. They're already spending their money trying to get their hair done, so it's very annoying when you as a stylist, you're trying to squeeze out an extra dollar from them by trying to get them to buy a growth serum. You know what I mean? Like, it's very annoying. So I definitely agree with that one. This one I have to agree with. She says, I've had a stylist who's dropped her comb on the floor, picked it up, and continued using it on me. That's not just a pet peeve, that's just straight up wrong. It should go without saying that you cannot drop a tool on the floor, pick it up off the floor, and put it back in your client's hair. I don't care if it was down there for 5 seconds, I don't care if it was down there for a split second. If it falls out of your hand and onto the floor, that comb is invalid, that brush is invalid, you can't use it anymore. This is why you have to have many combs and brushes, so if you drop one, you can just grab a new one. I mean, obviously pick it up off the floor, but put it in the sink so you can wash it later. Put it in a sanitizer. Just put it somewhere else out of the way. But grab a clean one from your drawer or wherever you keep them. Whenever I drop a comb on the floor, I make it very obvious to my clients that I'm not using it. I'll pick it up and I'll put it on the table, like somewhere within their peripheral vision, so they can see me putting it down and they can hear me going through my drawer and grabbing a new one, because I want you to know I did not take that comb off the floor. Even when I'm traveling, I always bring many combs just in case I drop it, because I don't bring sanitizer with me when I travel. So just in case it drops, I just feel like it's completely unexcusable to pick it up and use it again. So it should go without saying that that should have never happened. So that is more than a pet peeve. That is straight up wrong. I feel like I'm really mumbling. I'm sorry guys, I just really don't want to wake up anybody. It's really late right now and people have to work in the morning. Alright, so this last one I'm going to paraphrase it because it's really long, but this person's basically saying that she feels like her stylist takes too many breaks, like they're constantly going back and forth into the staff room and coming back and leaving and coming back. I mean, it's hard to say whether I agree or disagree with this one just because I don't know exactly what service this person was getting. Just because I know that as a stylist who has services that takes hours at a time, a lot of times clients tend to forget that we do need breaks. Like if I want to go to the bathroom or go in the back and grab something quick to eat, like just to put something in my mouth really quick, you know, there are some clients who would be like, why'd you leave me for a second? Like, I was alone, where'd you go? But then at the same time, in the same sense, I do agree if it's a case where it's like every 5 minutes your stylist is leaving, because there are some stylists who do that too, when they would put something in your hair or comb something really quick and then just leave and then come back and then leave, and usually to go and check their phone or go talk to somebody or go heat up an entire dish of food. Like, there is definitely an unacceptable amount of breaks, I would say, or you can't be too frequent in your breaks. Like, at the same, like, obviously you need a break, you're only human, but it's only so frequent those breaks should be. So it's definitely understandable if you're leaving every 5 minutes for your client to be like, you're just going back there to talk about me or just to talk to your friends, because that is how it comes across, because that usually is what the case is. So I like half agree, half disagree, because like I said, I don't know exactly what the situation is, but I'm more leaning towards agreeing with that because I feel like I get what they're saying. Because at the end of the day, as a client, you definitely want to feel like you're more than a job to your stylist. You want to feel like you're actually cared for. You want them to actually engage with you. So it definitely is not a good feeling if they keep on leaving you in your chair by yourself. So I definitely understand what this person is coming from. So again, I don't know the exact situation, but I'm definitely leaning more towards agreeing with this side, because this does happen a lot. I have seen it happen a lot in salons I've worked at where stylists are just leaving. They're just a little too casual with their breaks. So I definitely get that. Alright, so those are all the pet peeves that I was able to find for now. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna do another video where it's like the braiding client version, because I feel like there are so many more that I've seen, but it's more towards braiding as a whole. And I try and keep my braiding videos a little bit separate from my hairstyles videos because they are kind of different. So that'll be another video, and I'll try not to take an entire year to get to that video. So that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to share comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!